Spoiler alert, we're unpacking the whole plot, twist by twist. If you're spoiler sensitive, hit pause and come back when your TBR list catches up. Cheers!
Welcome to the podcast where our reading habits are unhinged.
And so are we.
I'm Gabby.
I'm Miranda.
And we're marginally unwell. Anyway, we're not laughing in this week's read.
Oh, no.
It was In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. A tense, twisty campus thriller where a 10-year college reunion reopens a mystery of a friend's murder, and no one's past is as buried as they had hoped. It was an interesting one.
Yes, very interesting. Ashley.
For a whole second, I was like, who? There was not an Ashley.
You said her name.
I know.
Oh, in the book?
Yeah, when you said Ashley, I was thinking like...
Characters.
Yeah. And that wasn't it.
It's a woman who wrote them.
The main character is Jessica. It's me, Jessica.
Oh my gosh, every time. Iconic.
We're really getting... Okay, focus up. Get it together.
Yes.
Okay, Jessica, our main character. As we said, we're going into
It starts off with Jessica,
Mm-hmm.
and she's in, where? New York or Washington?
New York.
Probably, New York?
I thought she was talking about living...
I want to
in,
say New York, but she talks about Washington so much. So now I don't know if it's one or the other. But she's in, I think, New York.
Yeah, because I was pretty sure she was talking about living near Central Park, like East Side or whatever.
Yeah.
And so she was like...
Opens up with her meeting her old-time friend at a bar. Right?
No.
Open.
It opens with her getting the invitation to the 10-year reunion.
Oh. Skip that. Oh, I thought that... Yeah, and she goes... Like, I'm thinking of the whole conversation at the bar. Anyway, yes.
It's very close. There's not a lot in the timeline. She
It's
gets...
like the second paragraph. My
Okay. Listen. So she gets the invitation to her 10-year college reunion at Duquette.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty quickly after that... I know. I was thinking about that the whole time. I couldn't... Why? Everything. I have to tell you. Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Okay, separate. So she gets the letter, and she is like talking about going to this reunion. She's so excited. She's like, I'm gonna show them I'm so successful and beautiful and everything. Number one.
Yeah, she's obsessed.
And she is going, though, to meet a friend, Jack, at a bar. I think it's the night before she, like, flies out for the reunion. And she's talking about how, basically, he is not going or kind of can't go to the reunion.
He wasn't invited, it said.
Oh, he wasn't?
That's part of, like...
Dang,
Yeah.
how can they do that? He wasn't?
He wasn't invited, no.
Are you sure?
100%. Because she's like, hey, she's like, I don't know if this is like a weird, like, she didn't want to make it awkward, and she's like, and in her thought, she's like, because he wasn't invited, and then he's like, no, I want you to go have fun, like, tell me if so and so looks the same, if he's gotten balder or whatever, and go check out where Heather and I used to drink coffee, and then he got cut off. But he wasn't invited. He didn't get an invitation.
Okay. That seems, like, weird, though. Like, obviously I get why, but... Okay, we'll get into that a little bit further about... Because, anyway, so he's not going, and she is like, yeah, I'm gonna go show everybody I'm living my best life, all the things, gonna miss you, whatever. Goodbye.
See ya.
And so she leaves the next day goes back to the campus. They're having a big old party.
Yes.
And
reunion party. She dresses so elegantly. She dyes her hair blonde, which I thought was hilarious. And well, she's just a blonde because she's like trying to reinvent herself. And I thought that was a subtle dig to something I'll bring up later. But
okay.
Anyway, she dyed her hair blonde, and then she was talking about how she wants other people. She's obsessed about how other people view her, and like what they think of her, like her social ranking or how she thinks about stuff. And her inner monologue was killing me. She's like, this dress was worth 2 months' mortgage, but it's totally worth it. Like, everybody's like looking at me in it. I'm like, girl,
that's crazy.
That's like the wildest thought process.
And can you imagine too how expensive that is if she's living on like the east side?
Yeah,
in New York. Also, if I'm wrong about that, I'll take it back.
Take it back. She lives in New York. New York is expensive, and I don't know.
Double the mortgage is crazy.
Double mortgage on the dress is nuts.
Double the mortgage on any dress other than like maybe your wedding dress, crazy.
Yeah. For a college reunion is nuts.
Okay, I think we need to move past
sorry.
the dress.
My bad. Yeah, so she's there.
I think they already brought up the whole situation, right? When she was talking to Jack? Like why Jack wasn't invited?
I mean, it makes sense. I don't think they talk. I don't remember.
Talked about it, but like why he wasn't?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't alluded in there. It was kind of more brought up whenever she reunites with people at the party, because especially whenever they go to the other side. Let's just go through the party.
Okay. So she gets to the party.
She gets to the party, and who spots her immediately? Her old friend, Caro. She's like, how did she find me so quickly? And she's like, I guess everybody can see me because I did highlight myself in this beautiful, expensive dress. I want to see what this dress looks like. So
it's going to be good.
Caro immediately goes to her and she's in her monologue again. No, I want to get away. Like, she doesn't want to.
But they're like best friends. That was kind of crazy to me.
I want to say like best friends because she was always ducking and dodging her text messages. Because Caro,
she got issues, but like, I feel like throughout the rest of the book they talked about how like they're best friends.
Yes, throughout the rest of they're all like really good friends. They're all very close. So Caro and her reunite first, and then they eyeball some other girls. They start chit-chatting, this and that, and then they end up getting to go to Courtney, which is another girl.
Yeah, Caro made the excuse, like, oh, we're going to go talk to Courtney and whatever, to pull them away from them. And then as they're, like, walking, she's like, I'm actually taking us over to Courtney.
And she's like, please, God, no, I don't want to talk to Courtney. So Courtney was, again, another one of their main friends while they were in college. But Jessica doesn't want to go talk to Courtney because Courtney is now married to her college boyfriend, out of college boyfriend, Mint, which I think is a funny nickname, but also I thought was really nice because of his, and it was, I don't remember his whole last name.
It was like Minted.
Yeah, it was short for his last name, which I thought was nice. It was a nice play.
I think he had an alliteration name too. Like it was like his first name. It was like Mark or something. Meh.
No, I just wrote men. Cool.
So anyway, it's absolutely not important, but
no, it's not.
There was
important.
that.
So we don't know the details of what happened between her and Mint, and we do know that Courtney is now married to Mint.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're there.
There's some spiciness between her and Courtney. Really between everybody and Courtney, let's be honest.
Yeah, Courtney was...
She's a little...
Not my cup of tea, Courtney. So what I thought really set the tone between their friendship here was Courtney immediately was like, said something along the lines to them, oh, it's been so long since the wedding. I haven't seen you. And she's like, what have you been up to, Jessica? You didn't make it. To
the wedding
of
her ex-boyfriend.
And she goes something along the lines of, oh, we couldn't make it because my boyfriend at the time and I were going to Paris. And Courtney says, oh, Paris is such a lovely spot to get engaged. Too bad you're single now. So Jessica, not wanting to be the last one, that's burned, I guess, she comes back with, oh, I didn't know you had such high tastes because I thought you were a little bit more down to earth like Wendy's, because didn't the first time you and Mint hunk up was in a Wendy's restaurant, in a Wendy's bathroom or something? This is like in a group, like not just the two of them or three of them, it's like with an audience.
These are the things you never hear people say out loud.
Oh
but
my gosh. Awesome. And they're supposed to be friends. So definitely set the tone there. Loved it. Anyway.
With that dynamic. As they talk more, we are introduced to a few more of the friend group.
Mm-hmm. You want to go through that?
Sure. Yeah. So we already had, Jessica's our main. Mm-hmm. We met Carol, her, like, quote-unquote best friend. Mm-hmm. Courtney. And then her husband / Jessica's ex-husband, Mint. Then we met Frankie, who is the local football star.
He also was recruited to the NFL to play with the Saints.
Yes.
And then the last one
is Coop, which is Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
He's the bad boy of the group.
Mm-hmm. And he is in a relationship or is married to Caro.
I think they're engaged.
They're engaged.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're at this party. They're reconvening, shooting the shit. I don't know. Doing things.
And at which point during conversations is when another friend who's not there gets brought up.
Yes.
During this time, somewhere in these conversations. And her name is Heather. And Heather was murdered.
Dun, dun, dun.
While they were in college.
Mm-hmm.
And...
which I think was also on Valentine's Day. She's murdered on Valentine's Day night, which is sad. Sad all around, but extra sad. I don't think it was revealed that. We'll take that back for now.
Didn't hear anything.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay, so we find out that they had a friend, I think it was junior year? Or was it their senior year?
It was their senior year.
Okay, I got confused because they talk a lot about the junior year too. So.
Yeah, they go back. There's a lot of flashbacks.
So senior year, Heather is murdered. And Jack, the one who we initially met in the bar with Jessica, the one who was not invited, was the prime suspect because Jack and Heather were dating at the time. Mm-hmm. There was a situation but people told police that they had had a big fight beforehand, and so it had to be him, basically. All the things. Jack was arrested during that time, but then quickly let go because they didn't have
any evidence,
anything to
substantial evidence.
Yeah, anything to go on other than the fact that they were dating and that they had a fight. Mm-hmm. So that is why I was confused about the not invited thing, because I can't believe the school would not invite him because he wasn't ever convicted of anything.
he wasn't invited because Caro and Eric were the ones that were on the committee to do it. So they were the ones that sent out the invites. Caro was the one sitting out invites. She didn't invite him.
Oh, I guess I missed that part. Okay, that's why I was confused, because I was like...
It wasn't this... They're on, like, some committee. Because Eric
yeah, I
was
know,
in
but
the
I just assumed,
administration
like,
office.
the entire class would get invited if it was, like, done by the school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's why I was like, unless he was, like, actually convicted of the murder...
Yeah.
in which case he'd, like, be in prison still, but...
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I was kind of confused by that. Anyway, so everybody thinks he did it, except for...
Jessica.
Jessica doesn't... She doesn't feel like he did it. She feels like he's innocent.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't really say, like, any reason why. She just, like, kind of has a feeling, I guess. And so that's what she was talking about. That's why she reconnected
like
with him.
Yeah, she's like, she hadn't reached out to him after initially came out, and then after she said that she had thought about it for some time, like, he couldn't do it because of the person that he was, and she knew him. And she didn't think that he was capable of it. Oh. So they ended up reconnecting, and then he found out, that he is also in New York, and they ended up reconnecting. Yeah.
But the whole entire rest of the friend group still suspects that he's the one that did it. They all think it's him. Mm-hmm. So Eric, you just brought up, is another good point. Somebody else who wasn't really in the friend group, but he was Eric's...
Eric was
Heather's little brother.
Yes.
Sorry.
He was a freshman, and she was a senior. And he also doesn't think... No, he enters the party. That's what's going on.
He enters the party because he works for the school...
Registration office.
Yeah. And so, like you said, he was, like, part of putting on the whole reunion thing, and so he does come into the party. Mm-hmm. That was also a weird thing that happened. This is why I was wondering if it got brought up earlier, because whenever she met with Jack at the bar before she left, Jack, whenever he was like, oh, like, go check out whatever the heck the coffee shop, it was something monkey. Mm-hmm. Anyway, whatever. And then at, like, the very end, she was like, if Eric is there, tell him I said hi.
He said, tell Eric I said hi. And she thought, why are you talking about Eric?
Yeah. She thought it was very weird because everybody thinks that he killed his sister. Why would she?
And as far as she knew, he had no contact with Eric.
Yeah.
So why would he bring up Eric whenever he wasn't in the friend group initially? Yeah.
So Eric comes into the party.
Says hi to the gang.
Mm-hmm.
And is like, hey, let's go to Heather's memorial and whatever. And they're like, no, none of them want to go.
Yeah.
No,
kind of like guilts them into like going in her memory to like all go.
We should go pay her respects since she couldn't be here.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, damn.
They're like, okay, let's go. So that was awkward.
Yeah.
So they start going, and group realizes basically that, I don't know if it was like on the way or until they got there. I don't remember when it was said exactly. But there is a spot on campus that was like a memorial for her. Mm-hmm. Eric ends up leading them to the basement of the fraternity house. Mm. And they were like, you know, kind of, why are we here? This isn't her memorial. And he was like, well, I just thought this was more suited because this is like the last place that she was seen alive. And
in the basement?
Because they had that party.
Yeah, I forgot about the party.
I'm pretty sure that's what he had said, and that's why he like took them.
I don't remember that part.
Anyway, the tone of that was like, oh, real creepy. They already didn't want to be there.
Very uncomfortable.
And then he's acting a little cray.
Mm-hmm. A little manic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He did come off that way for sure. So Eric kind of starts talking to them. He's getting, like you said, a little manic, a little bit crazy. They're getting uncomfortable. And they're all like, oh, like, let's just go. Don't want to be here. Mm-hmm. And then he basically spills out that
he's like, he said something along the lines like, it's a shame that Heather's killer never came to justice, and then a lot of them, the majority of them, point out that, oh, Jack was the one. We all know Jack did it. And then Eric said, no, I don't think that Jack did it, and I'm not the only one that thinks that. Isn't that right, Jessica? Jessica. And then Jessica is now outed
for being friends with Jack
after the fact, and they all then accuse Jessica of like, wow, really trashing her memory for being friends with her murderer. Yeah. You know, it's a bunch of stuff along the lines, and she's like, it doesn't make sense. We all knew him. Blah, 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 blah,
he was a good guy. He was actually known for
sticking up, morally correct.
He grew up, I think his parents were in the church, and so they all thought like he would end up doing that, and like they're very religious, and he was kind of their go-to moral compass, I would say, a lot. And so she was basically like, you all knew him. And at this point, Eric is now saying, I don't believe that it was him either, but somebody in this room did kill her.
And we're about to find out. We ain't leaving. So, this is where it gets interesting. There's a lot of stuff that ends up coming out. I cannot, for the life of me, put it in chronological order like the things.
Yeah, there's no way. We would for real need. I know we talked about this on the last episode of having the board with all the string and everything going everywhere for real for this one.
Extender finger. This one.
Yeah. This one had a lot of flashbacks, and so it was kind of interesting like how we found out the timeline. But basically, the overall of it was...
I think the flashbacks in this were very chronological. So it was easy to follow leading up to the event of her death. So it was essentially like, I think it started off with them being, so it doesn't just cover the senior year. It leads from freshman year all the way to the event. So it starts off with flashbacks to the freshman year.
Yeah.
And with...
I think that was easy to follow. Or it was just which not that it was hard to follow, it's just remembering chronological order for this, because it was like one flashback. Essentially, it would point out something that somebody did, some buried secret that each person had, and then they would go through that and it would be like, oh my gosh, it was you. And they would think like they did it, or they had something to do with it, or oh, you lied to us. And then that would, in turn, something would happen during that time that then would lead to the flashback of like somebody else, and then it would be kind of the same thing over and over again.
What I also liked about that, I just want to touch on to this. So Jessica is our main character, and it's mostly in her perspective, like her narrating perspective in the current timeline. However, with the flashbacks, depending on whose flashback it was in the POV of that character. Yeah. Which I really liked.
I really liked it too. I think that the author did a really good job with that. I feel like sometimes that can be it can get confusing whenever there's POVs from so many different people and you're talking about flashbacks. But I don't feel like there was ever a point where I was like, I don't know who's talking.
The tone of the flashbacks are very distinguishable by the character.
Yeah, I think so too.
I also think that she did a really good job with that. Yeah. I was going to say something else about that, but until I remember.
Okay. So we are just going to kind of talk about some of the things that came out, and
we're not going to go over all of it. Just like the key points.
Yeah, and they may or may not be in order. So
I do remember now. Okay. So the POVs of them with the flashbacks I thought was very helpful, because it also builds the reader's perspective of that character. So it also goes into like that character's background, not just in that flashback, but why the way that they feel that they need to be
It helped with
better
character
than
development of all of them, and considering
they're not very developed. Yeah. They are.
I mean, we find out like the background of so many of them.
Yeah, we do. We do find out a lot.
I'm not saying that they have like a major character arc or anything.
No,
but I'm saying like the development of them. It wasn't just like these 7 friends that you got kind of basic knowledge about. They went deep into some of them.
Yeah, they went into like their childhoods and why they think the way that they think, or why they feel like they need to be the best at something, or not, or shown to be perfect, or not have any flaws.
Or certain actions that they took, I feel like, were, it was uncovered why and what in their past had caused that, like, not in relation to these friends or even at college at all.
Yeah, I think she did a really good job with that.
So yeah, let's get into some of the things that were brought up. So I think pretty early on, one of the big ones was about Frankie. So
the football
guy.
star, Frankie.
We ended up finding out. I don't remember. I need to just stop saying I don't remember.
The float? What part are you talking about?
Well, that was the first flashback we had, I think, was the float.
Let's talk about how they became the...
Yes, they have a name for this group. They were apparently...
They're known as the East House 7. The East House was their dorm house. So this was junior year? Freshman year?
I think it was junior year.
I want to say junior year.
Maybe I'm totally wrong. I think maybe it was earlier than that.
Probably. No, it's their freshman year. So they're...
Yeah, because they were about to rush.
Yeah, they're about to rush. The school has a parade, and each dormitory has their own float to represent their dormitory. And they worked very hard on their float, and it was destroyed and by another dormitory. So then a lot of them, specifically Courtney, threw her hands up and she's like, I'm not going to waste the rest of my night trying to fix a float that's already blah, 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 blah. So they decide to steal the float of the dormitory that ruined theirs, because they said, they tagged it and said that it was them. I don't remember exactly. So they went and stole theirs and then X'd out that dormitory and wrote their dormitory. And then they put that float in the parade.
Yeah.
And so that dormitory then decided, and it was the 7 of them, except
for Courtney.
Except for Courtney.
Because she was like, no, I don't want to do this. And so she literally left.
So they take the float and they're in the parade, and that other dormitory is like, you stole our float, blah, 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 blah. And then Jessica had the bright idea of, let's shoot fireworks at them, to get them away from us. And then someone said, I want to say Jack, but I don't think it was him. Someone said, don't hit them directly, aim above them. And then Frankie then was like, yeah, let's do the fireworks. And got the fireworks, but somehow his pants caught on fire, so he's naked on this float trying to cover himself. And
then he leans into it.
And he leans into it, and it's like a whole thing. And then they ended up getting like escorted off and this whole thing. And then now, because they did this in front of the whole school, they're now known as the East House 7. And it's very distinguished they bring this up a couple of times where it could have been the East House 8, it could have been the East House 8, but Courtney, blah, 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 blah. And she's kind of has like this animosity. Thank you. I'm not even going to try. Around it, because she's like, it's all because of you, East House 7. Oh, da, 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 da. And it's like...
Yeah, there's definitely some contention there throughout the whole book that she's basically like on the outs of this group, because they had this connection with this thing, and these 7 are known as
she felt like an an extra on their friend group, even though she is in the friend group.
Yeah. And she kind of thought of herself, I think, as main character, but...
They all think of themselves as main.
I mean, that's true, too, but...
Especially her. I didn't like her
either, but I'm just saying it's a real bold take to think that whenever you're, like, on the outside.
Exactly, and you're the one that didn't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
So, yeah, they become the East House 7, all the things. That explains that.
That solidified their friendship. Like, they have now, like, this bond with that.
And that's why they went through college together, like, as their little group. So, we end up finding out, like I said, some big secrets about each of them. So...
We're going to start off with Frankie.
So, Frankie was kind of the first one up. I don't remember how we got to his secret or anything like that, but so it comes to light that Frankie is actually gay. It comes out that he was gay and that he was maybe having a little relationship with Jack, who came out as bisexual, and that was where they first were like, oh, it was him because of, like,
Jack and Heather being in a relationship, and he's the third, or the mistress.
There was that love triangle thing happening, and so that's where, like, some of that came from. And then also, I think it was because they were talking about how Jack had come out to Heather, and they never said, I don't think they ever said if Jack told Heather, like, who he was with. Because that's why they were having that big fight beforehand. The reason that everybody thought that Jack had done it. So, they were saying that, like, if she had found out that she was going to tell everybody that Frankie was gay, and that was, like, a big deal to him during the parents' weekend, and his dad was very, like, living vicariously through his son, meaning Frankie's dad, and was like, you're going to be a football star and, like, go to the NFL and all the things. And there was not really anybody openly gay in the NFL. And so it would have been a huge deal. And so they were saying that, like, if Heather had threatened to tell that he was gay, that was his motive for killing her. So that was the first big one. We walked through all that. And then at the end of that was also when we find out that I don't know if he, like, fully attempted suicide that night, but then they were kind of leaning into that too because they were like, it was your guilt that night, but we all just thought it was he being sad.
Yeah, but he went into why he felt that way because he thought that he was the one that hurt her. Because he said that he hurt her, but come to find out, he started talking about him committing suicide after they found out that about Heather or whatever, because he thought that he had hurt Heather whenever this was the night of the party of the incident, and I think it was Sweethearts. I think it was called the Sweethearts, the party or whatever that they were going to for Valentine's Day. So she being Heather, that night was talking to Courtney that she's like, oh, Jack, Courtney walked into her and she was looked in on her and she was, like, crying in the bathroom or something. And Courtney was like, why are you crying? And then Heather was saying, oh, Jack just broke up with me and you don't know, like, blah, 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 blah. And then Courtney was like, oh, well, you know, forget Jack, you know, do whatever, wipe your face, this and that. And they went back to the party and Heather got very drunk and wasted and Courtney had passed her off to Frankie for Frankie to take her back to her dorm. And whenever he was doing that, she was very drunk and it was very hard for her to get into her bed, so he did his best to get her into the bed. Also, Jessica and Heather shared a dorm. So
Jessica, Heather, and Caro.
And Caro shared a dorm. Mm-hmm. So he placed...
she ended up getting into Jessica's bed.
And when Frankie was trying to do this, he accidentally hit her head on the bed or the headboard or something. And he's like, what if I, knocked her out and it impaired her from her attacker? And he felt guilt from that. Like, he thought that he was part of the cause, like, she couldn't fight back. And I think that led to him going there on top of, like, his... Because he also said that was part of it, and then also he was thinking about how he couldn't truly be happy if he couldn't be his true self, and he was too afraid to do that, and by potentially ruining his relationship with his father and his potential career in the NFL. So it was all these circumstances that brought him to that.
So he basically is like, no, I didn't kill her, but he feels as though he holds some guilt to what happened because, like, they wouldn't have gotten in a fight, and then he, like, hit her head and all the things and whatever. So that's Frankie. I think we should just go through kind of each person and kind of the revelations that happened.
Pieces leading up to that.
Yeah.
So we should go through Courtney, I think, next.
Okay. I don't remember what Courtney's big one was.
Courtney's big one was at the party whenever Heather talked to Courtney about the incident with Jack. We found out the incident was Heather found out that Jack and Frankie were hooking up behind her back. And Jack wanted to break up with her. She thought that she was going to get married to Jack. And so she's like, I thought it, blah, blah, blah. And so Courtney ended up giving her these, what were they?
The diet pills?
The diet pills from China.
Yeah.
Which is essentially speed.
Yeah. And she was like, no, we're going to like essentially fuck them, and like we're gonna go out and have a great time and do all the things and blah blah. And so she was like, take these, and during all their conversations current time, they're talking about how there was some kind of a drug in her system. And so then it comes out that Courtney was the one who gave her these pills, and they're saying that it's on her because
she impaired her.
Yeah. And so she was like so out of it that she again couldn't fight back to whoever attacked her. And so the whole story through that like unfolds, and again is basically like, I didn't do it, but maybe had a hand in like what ultimately went down.
Didn't help her.
Yeah, it didn't help her.
Yeah. So yeah, it was revealed that she did that. Then I'm trying to think of what other thing happened that night.
With her?
With Heather. So we went through Courtney and Frankie. Jack we kind of already went through because we know why they got into a fight. He did not end up going to the party. Who else is left?
So we have Coop, Caro, and Jessica.
Okay. So let's go through with Coop. So Coop, people were pointing the finger at Coop because Coop was the bad boy. He was the drug dealer for the whole campus. And everybody was pointing the finger thinking that he had given Heather the drugs. But
because they said that it was, what was the drug?
Tweak.
Yeah. So there was apparently this drug going around at the time that was like super popular called Tweak, and they were saying that what was in Heather's system was something similar to tweak. Mm-hmm. And so they were like, since you're the drug dealer, like...
You're the one that gave it to her.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, he didn't. Wasn't he at anyone's her? He had his own thing going on. And so Eric was like, I said it looked like tweak. I didn't say it was tweak. And it was this diet pill, whatever. And then Jessica's like, you, Courtney. And
yeah.
Courtney's like losing her mind. Mm-hmm. So going back to Coop, he did not go to the party. He had his own things going on, and it comes to find out where he was at the time. Was with Jessica. Jessica was there.
Every time you say it.
Jessica.
I was going to say it.
So, because at the time, Jessica was in a relationship with Mint, but she had this unavoidable attraction to the bad boy. And
as one does.
Coop was attracted to her. It was like in love with her or whatever. Mm-hmm. Jessica, that was revealed, that went to Coop because she was upset about something. Coop was there supporting Jessica, and is that the night I think he also did the retaliation against...
No.
Okay.
So first we get into where he thinks that it was him, mm-hmm. because of the whole drug dealing thing, and he is like trying to be with Jessica, kind of, mm-hmm. like he is telling her that he loves her and like he wants to be with her, and mm-hmm. she has a pretty big problem with the fact that he is selling drugs.
Yes.
And he's run into a couple issues with essentially people like people above him, mm-hmm. in
his distributors.
Yeah. And so she's like, it's not safe, and I don't want you to be a part of this, all this mm-hmm. crap. And so with that comes a little bit of Jessica here. We'll get into more of it, but mm-hmm. her dad was an addict, mm-hmm. and died of an overdose. And mm-hmm. so that was where a lot of her, like, I don't want anything to do with this, whatever. And so Coop decides that he's like, I'm going to get out of the game, basically, mm-hmm. because I'm in love with this girl, and I want her to, like, give me a real shot, and so I'm going to get out. Mm-hmm. And so he tells his distributors that he's like, I'm done. Mm-hmm. And they're basically like, a drug dealer. And they're like, nah. And they're like, in fact, we want you to sell tweak, which mm-hmm. he wasn't doing. Initially, he was just kind of like selling pot and like
Molly.
Yeah. More basic level stuff.
Barely even a drug.
So he's only selling this. He's like, I want out. They say, and in fact, you're going to sell tweak. Mm-hmm. And at some point, they come and like threaten him and stuff. And they say, like, we're going to hurt your friends, whatever. And so it's kind of led us to believe that the night that Heather was murdered, because he was trying to get out and they were like threatening mm-hmm. him, that because she was in Jessica's bed, mm-hmm. that they were like trying to hurt the girl that he liked, and mm-hmm. so he thought it was his fault mm-hmm. because he tried to do that. So that was
his big reveal.
I didn't do it, but here's how my story played into it situation. So then it ends up coming out that sweet Caro.
I don't really know how I feel about Caro. But you go ahead.
So I don't know if this is necessarily true in the group, but how she kind of viewed herself was at the bottom mm-hmm. of their group. Not really an outsider, I would say, but like...
lowest on the totem pole?
Yeah. Like if things dismantled, she'd be out for mm-hmm. sure. And it comes out that she got a little stalkery mm-hmm. in order to try to keep everybody together. And so she was constantly watching all the other friends and making sure she knew where they were going to be and making mm-hmm. sure like they were going to get together. So that way this friend group didn't fall apart and she didn't lose her friends.
Yeah, her dream, they talk about dreams a lot because, I mean, they're in college and what they want to do, their aspirations. And her biggest one, like everyone's like, oh, I'm going to be an NFL star. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to go work in blah, blah, blah. And her biggest dream, which I thought was wholesome but also a little weird, was to have friends, which I think is sweet. But the execution...
She was coming off a little thackeray, okay? So, come to find out that she's following everybody and...
spying on people.
Yes.
Like ducking and dodging behind chairs. Like, what are they talking about?
And so we find out that during one of her spy moments, she overhears Heather. Is it Heather?
You have to talk about
Heather?
my part.
Heather, Jack, and Heather, Jack, and Frankie. And she ends up overhearing that Heather just found out that Frankie was taking steroids.
Yes.
And that Jack was helping him pass his drug test, who was like peeing in a cup for Frankie. So they're having this whole conversation. Heather's pissed and is basically like, Jack, I can't believe like you're doing this. This is like not okay. He's cheating, all the things. And she is threatening to tell his coach. She's like, if you don't stop it right now, like I'm going to the coach and like that's going to be that. And so because they found out all this about Caro, that she's like so desperate to keep this friend group together that she was worried that if Heather did that or if anybody did anything
to just like really destroy the friendship, that none of them were going to be able to like...
She would be out and not have any friends. Because like maybe some of them would like go off on their own groups, but she's the bottom, so she would be out. And so it was kind of pointed to the fact that maybe she killed Heather to keep her from
dismantling the group.
Yeah. And so she didn't lose any friends other than the one that she murdered, evidently. So that makes total sense.
Like, one less is better than 6 less. Mentality.
So that's what we find out about Caro. I feel like hers was fairly mild.
Yeah,
in
comparison to everybody else. Yeah, absolutely. It was a little weird that she was...
But she was like kind of covering up like everybody's things.
Secrets or mistakes.
To make sure that they were all together.
She did other like creepy stalkery cover-ups, but that was her main motivation, or what is it? Motivation to kill her. What is it? What is it called? It's like her motive. That's what it is.
Oh,
it was her
like you're
motive.
Saying the right thing.
I knew I wasn't.
I mean, it's the same. Anyway, yeah. So that's that, and then
we find out.
Oh, we have Jessica and Mint. I forgot.
Yeah, so I think we should do Jessica first.
Okay. So Jessica has a lot uncovered. She has some serious daddy issues, obviously. I already brought up the fact that her dad was an addict. So that plays into her wanting to be with Coop, because, like, there's that.
Not wanting to be with Coop?
Not wanting him to deal drugs, but then also I think that plays into, like, her daddy issues and why she's, like, can't. Even though she's with Mint, she, like, can't say no to him because she's got daddy issues, is what I really think.
Yeah.
Obviously it doesn't say
I
that.
don't think it's her daddy issues. I think it's more like, well, yeah, it's probably daddy issues. So she has a lot going on. So we'll take it back to like her daddy. So her dad has been withdrawing from his family's life, and a big part of that stemmed because he wasn't living up to his potential. He graduated from Harvard. That was his biggest success, and he
was going to do some kind of like econ advising in Washington.
Yep. And he had all this potential, and his parents were like, "Oh, he's about to do it. He's going to do it," and then never did. And for him to cover up the feeling that he never succeeded or didn't push himself to succeed, and he decided to self-medicate. And while she was applying to colleges in high school, he found out that she wanted to go to Harvard, or she wanted to go to Harvard because that's what he thought was like the best school, and her grandparents always said it was the best school. So she always was trying to get his approval, and through her success.
Yes. And that was where a lot of her, like,
ambition,
her, like, perfectionism comes from. Like, in the beginning, whenever we saw how she was like, I'm going to show everybody how I'm so successful, and I'm the prettiest. And she, throughout the whole book, she talked about, like, that she had to be the best at everything. She got really good grades. She didn't have to be
perfect, but she had to be the best.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She was like, I realized that there's, like, you can't be perfect, but I can be the best, basically.
I can settle for being the best.
Yeah. And so she got really good grades. She obviously had a lot of ambition, things like that. And then, but this is where also a lot of
her poor decision making comes in.
Yeah, a lot of tension comes in because Heather is kind of the girl who seemingly walks through life and gets handed everything.
Parents love her. She got a brand new car for her birthday for no reason.
A BMW,
yeah. And she's like, "What do you mean you got a new car?" Like, and she's like, "Yeah, that Audi is already 4 years old." And she's like, "Only." She's like, "Well, you're drowning in credit card debt."
Yeah, that was something that was talked about too. Is she was like in massive debt.
She didn't have any scholarship for the school. She was accepted, but didn't have any kind of assistance.
Mm-hmm. And then she was taking out credit cards, like maxing out credit cards and stuff to kind of keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, situation, because she always wanted to prove that like she was the best and had everything and could be what everybody else was being.
So she really gravitated towards Mint because he had social status, and she had social status in association with him.
Yes.
So she really liked her relationship. I think she really cared for him, but definitely a big benefactor.
Like, especially in the beginning, they talked about like she was just like so infatuated.
Yeah, he's like, what is it, blonde, blue eyes, blonde eye.
I think it was just he was big man on campus, and like everybody wanted to be his friend, be around him, do all the things. He was like the guy. His family was like super up there, things like that. And
so
yeah,
that was a really big perk of the relationship.
But then she couldn't stay away from Coop.
She couldn't stay away from Coop because, I don't know, something about him. I wonder what it was. So Coop, her relationship with Coop, he really saw her for who she really was and accepted her for who she was. And I think her relationship with Mint was, she liked how Mint made her feel and gave in the looks that were given to her in acceptance and like eye-catching, I think. I do think that she did have feelings for him, but I think her feelings for Coop were stronger. I think it was hard for her to let go of Mint because of
she wanted the perception of what that brought
of the relationship.
Yeah. And so with all that being said, Heather, kind of kept getting all the things that she wanted without, like, really trying. Like, she got into the sorority that Jessica wanted to, and Jessica got into, like, the second best. And it was kind of that way, I think, throughout their entire college career. And then the story that kind of leads to Jessica
is the letter, right?
Is, yes, she had applied for some kind of grant that basically this grant is essentially an admission to any graduate school you wanted to go to. And so she was like, this is perfect. I really, like, I have to get this, because she was going to try to go to Harvard for graduate school, because since she didn't get into Harvard for college. Yes, and then her, we kind of skipped over this, but the previous Christmas, her dad had OD'd.
Yes.
And so she was like, I just don't want him to be, like, like that's all he was just like somebody who didn't live up to his potential. So like I need to go to Harvard so that way I can basically live for him.
Yeah,
is what it was. And so she's so focused.
He didn't lose his potential for nothing.
Yeah,
like, she feels that she was the one that diminished his potential because whenever there's a flashback to where I thought this was so sad. She had a flashback of her father, and her father was just like delirious or something. She goes to him with a drawing and is like talking about how it's her, the mom, and the dad, and it's like king, queen, princess. And he's like, what is this? Get away from me. And he's like, I hate you. You're the reason I'm like this, or blah, 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 blah.
Basically, them having her ruin his life, and that's the reason he can live up to his potential.
That's why.
Yeah. That's the problem. So she thinks like this is a way to carry his legacy, so he's not just like known for that, and she can go to Harvard, whatever. So she's talking about how it's so important for her to get this, and there is this econ professor, Dr. Garvey, yeah. Yeah, that is some bigwig econ professor. He like worked in Washington, and then he's been at Duquette for like years, and basically if you can get a recommendation letter from him, you're almost a shoo-in for this grant that she like needs to get in order to get into Harvard. And goes to him and is basically like, I think it was 4 of his classes, and she's like, I got all A's, and I was like incredible student, all the things.
It was like her favorite professor because she mentioned this a couple times, is that that professor was what her father could have been without her.
Well, yeah, like he was basically living the life that her dad always wanted. Like that's the life that he should have had. Yeah. And so she goes to him and says like, hey, I'm asking for this recommendation. And first of all, he was kind of like, who are you?
Yeah.
Which was, something. And she makes this whole spiel about how she deserves this recommendation. And he's like, let's go to dinner.
A little sus.
Yeah. And she's
like, I don't think so. And he goes, well, if you're asking me for, I don't know you, and you're asking me for a rec letter, so it doesn't hurt for me to get to know you a little bit.
I want to get to know you to be able to like write the letter.
Yeah.
And so she's like, okay, seems so harmless, basically.
That makes sense.
Yeah. In her tiny brain. So she's like, yeah, that makes sense. So she ends up going to dinner with this guy, and it goes how we all think it's going to go.
Yeah.
Which is him
manipulating her, or what's the other word? Pressuring?
I think manipulating is blackmailing. It's not really blackmailing, but like I think manipulating is just the best word, because at the end of the night he's like, okay, like, so you're gonna come back to my place for like a nightcap, whatever, and she's like, no. And he was like, well, you want your letter, don't you? And basically, without saying, was saying like, you're gonna come do this, or I'm not gonna give you the letter. And as we know, that's all she thinks about is being the best and getting into Harvard and doing the things.
She's like, oh, well, I'm going to leave. And he's like, I'm not going to be back until, after the grant needs submission deadline is due. And she's like, I need this letter.
Yeah.
So they go, and what you think is going to happen happens.
And she obviously feels horrendous about it. Yeah. But he does give her the recommendation letter, which she turns in, and I think at that point she's basically like, I'm just trying to forget it and just try to get this grant.
Move on.
And so the day comes, which is
the results are in.
The day of Valentine's Day, I guess, as well.
It's a couple hours before the party.
I think it was like during the day and the party's in the evening. So she gets the results and all excited, whatever. She's like, for sure it's going to be me because I got the thing. And wouldn't you know it?
Who do you think got the grant?
Heather. Which is also brought up to be kind of crazy because she wasn't in any of his classes. She was in
one of his classes.
She ended up taking, she wasn't like an econ major or anything, and like she wasn't initially, which I think was brought up earlier in the book, like how she like got into one of his classes or something.
She was in one of his classes in freshman year, and she bombed one of the tests, and after that she went to the Professor Garvey and said,
We didn't find this out yet.
Okay.
Anyway, Jessica's pissed because she's like, how did she get it? Like, she doesn't even want to do this. I can't believe she even applied, basically. She's like, she didn't tell me she was applying.
She didn't say anything about it.
And then Heather comes back and she's like, oh, great news. Like, I randomly got this grant that I applied for, like, on a whim, pretty much. And she ends up telling Jessica that Dr. Garvey also wrote her a recommendation letter. And so Jessica initially thinks, like, oh, did the same thing happen to her? Like, and then
she's like, did you go to dinner? And she goes, ew, no, why would I go to dinner?
He's like old, like, whatever, And so she's like, basically, I sold my soul for this letter to get this grant, and
didn't even get the grant.
And then she didn't have to do anything. And again,
she got a letter and didn't even have to go.
Didn't have to do that, And so that gets. She's pissed, obviously. So she's like raging, all the things, and
Heather ends up asking her, "Do you want to go shopping? Do you want to go get my hair?" Blah, blah, blah. She's like, "Oh, my parents are gonna sell me that so that I can get whatever I want as a celebration. Do you want to come with me?" And she's like, "Of course." Her parents are giving her everything. She doesn't even need the money. And she's talking about, maybe I'll go to Harvard, and maybe I'll do Oxford. That way I can go to London for the plays. And she's like, she's just raging in her head, like how privileged she is, and she doesn't even know it. And she's working her ass off. And she's like, no, I'm going to stay. And and so she's like, okay, see you later. And Heather leaves, and Jessica has a meltdown. She takes her computer and throws it against the wall, and she's like,
crazy.
She's like, that's on a credit card that it's like maxed out. I don't even have like the funds to like replace it.
Yeah.
So,
and she ends up getting drunk that night. She doesn't show up to the party.
After that happens, she decides to take the pills, Courtney's pills. She also takes Courtney's pills that night, at that moment. And the reason she has them is because Heather would steal them from Courtney to keep them away from her. And then she chased them down with a handle of whiskey. that they had. And so that sets up her night before the party even happened. And then she goes.
We find out that she had never gone to the party. And then through Jessica's story, we find out that she basically blacked out after drinking so much and taking pills and everything. And that whenever she woke up that day, she woke up, like, I forgot where she was at. She woke up somewhere else, like not in her dorm, and she was like covered in blood. And it was somewhere else on campus. And so she was covered in blood. And so she's like...
Is it not the tower?
Huh?
Is it not the tower?
I don't know. I can't remember where it was, but she is talking through this whole scenario where she wakes up, can't remember anything, covered in blood, and she like runs to the girls' locker rooms and showers and goes back, and then that's where she I can't remember if she found Heather or if she came back and like they had just found Heather or whatever. And so everybody starts questioning her. Because at this point, they're on the, like, homecoming float thing the next day in real time.
Yeah.
And, or current time, I guess I should say. And so they start questioning her and being like, oh, basically you were jealous of Heather getting everything, and, like, she got everything you wanted. And she decided it was a good idea to jump off the float and then run, because that doesn't make you look guilty at all.
That's been her MO throughout the book, though. Is like she has like she cannot compute, and then she just bolts. She's done it a couple of times.
She's like, I'm crashing out, so I'm just gonna take off.
Yeah. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so she literally jumps off this moving float, which, I mean, it's a float, so, like, it's not probably moving very fast, but still, jumps off of it, takes off running, and everybody's like, stop her. Mm-hmm. She runs to the tower and is like, you know, I think I did it for some reason. Like, she still could never remember, like, what happened that night during the blackout. And she was like, it had to have been me. Like, I was covered in all the blood, and she was like, I woke up knowing that I was, like, guilty of something. And, so she's there in the tower, and she's, like, gets up in the window, and she's standing there thinking about jumping. And in runs first. Like, she sees the parade coming, and, like, they're all gonna come, obviously, after her. But first person that comes in is Coop. And he's coming in carrying a diploma, like a broken, busted up diploma. And he didn't. He says what he did.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, okay, so comes in with the thing, and they start talking through things, and she's like, I think, like, basically they think that she thinks she did it. And he's like, wait, you don't remember? And he was like, you don't remember, like, seeing me that night? And she's like, what the heck are you talking about? No, I was blacked out because I was on everything. And so he runs through the night with her. So at some point in the night, we'll get back to the other part, she goes to him.
Yeah.
And she's a freaking hot mess.
Yeah.
And is, like, crying to him about how she didn't get the grant, and she ends up opening up to him about this situation with Dr. Garvey. And Coop, obviously, because he's, well,
the bad boy.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but I was going to say because he's in love with her, and because he's just like, I mean, who wouldn't feel this way in a situation like this? He is obviously enraged by the fact that the professor, like, took advantage of her and, like, did that and all the things. And it had got brought up earlier in the night during some of the confessions that there were a couple other crimes that happened that night that, like, nobody talked about.
Right.
One of them was Dr. Garvey. I keep wanting to say Harvey. Dr. Garvey's house got broken into, and everything was, like, trashed, and it was, like, rapist written all over the walls and everything like that. And we found out that Dr. Garvey, like, left after that. He was no longer teaching there, went off to Washington, did his thing. Coop ends up confessing after she runs. They're in the tower. He's confessing to her that he was the one that went ballistic and, like, trashed the whole house and everything. And I don't remember if that's what causes it to come back, or how does she the rest of that night? I think he says that, and then that's what triggers her to remember the rest of it. Or no, or they all come in, and then they
all come in the middle of him explaining that night. And Jessica is now, because she's always trying to put it together, and so at this point, she's starting to remember some parts of it, and she's like, oh, okay, I didn't know that you did that. And then Mint, because they all ran in at the time, and she remembers because he tells her that whenever she showed up at wherever his dorm or whatever, that she had that paper. Oh, the letter?
The like announcement of the top of the grant.
Oh.
So she's holding that, and that's why he's like, what's happening? And she's holding this paper, and so he tells her that, and that triggers the memory of the rest of the night. So they all come in, and they're like, you murderer, you killed her, all the things. And then they're basically like, wait, no, it actually wasn't. And she ends up remembering that she gets messed up, and then she is so pissed, and the reason she thinks she killed her is because she was like, I hate her, like basically thinking she wants her dead.
Yeah.
And then she remembers that she's like, comes up with this plan to go to the like administration office and is like, I'm gonna
look at the letter.
I'm gonna look at the letter because like, basically figure out a way. She was like, it shouldn't have been hers. Like, how was it? Whatever. And she's like, I'm gonna see like this was rigged or like something like that. And she goes and she pulls out the recommendation letter that Dr. Garvey wrote for Heather, and it's like glowing, like a crazy letter. And that was where the part you were bringing up earlier.
Yeah. I don't even know where I was going with that. I don't remember what I was going to say, but essentially, like, oh, yeah, she had taken his class in their freshman year, and she had bombed one of the tests. This is where you're talking about, right?
Yes.
So she had bombed one of the tests, and she went to Dr. Garvey and was like, hey, I know I failed this, but I want a recommendation letter, and I'm going to prove myself to you. I want a recommendation letter for this grant. She had been planning on applying for the grant the entire time of their college stint. And so Jessica then is like, well, how could she keep all of this a secret for so long, and then acts as though she didn't care about it and all of this. So she's like thinking,
she thinks that she could have lied about not having to have the dinner also.
Yeah. About not having the dinner, all of these things, and she doesn't necessarily trust what Heather tells her anymore because it's all the disguise. And so she compares it to her letter, which is, she finds that is very generic. So she's like, it could literally take out her name and put any other student in there. Yeah. But Heather's letter was tailored to Heather.
Yeah, and it was about how she had failed that test or whatever, and she was like wanting to take his class again, and she basically aced the class, and so he wrote this letter about how she was like so hardworking and all the things and whatever. So she finds that she's obviously like more pissed now because Heather lied to her. And then she also finds essentially the rankings of, not rankings, but like who won like first, second, and third, because if for some reason the first place didn't take it or wasn't able to or whatever, they would go down the list. And so it was first Heather, and then second was like,
her?
Huh?
Second was...
No.
Oh.
It was two other people who we didn't know. And so she was like, basically like, I didn't even make the list. And so she was like, Heather, I was so pissed at Heather for like taking this away from me, because she thought like essentially she came in second. That's what she was thinking. And then it wasn't even true. Like she didn't even crack the top of the list. So it wouldn't have mattered if Heather didn't get it. She wouldn't have got it still. Yeah. So she has that, and she's like crying and like having her whole moment. And so she had broken in there, and so as she was crawling out of the window, she ends up being clumsy, which is probably due to her inebriation, and ends up like dragging herself through the glass of the window, like kind of falls on it, and that's how she had ended up all scratched and bloody, and then ran from there to Coop, which is why she had the paper with like the list of people, and ends up telling him, spilling the beans about everything that happened. So that was Jessica. That was a lot.
Yeah,
and so basically,
Jessica had a lot.
Revelation of, okay, I didn't kill her.
Yeah, because she was with Coop and she didn't know that she was. So then that brings us lastly to Mint.
And so throughout discussing Jessica's night,
mind you, Mint and Jessica are still in a relationship here.
Not currently, but like
at that time
at the time of the killing, the murder, they were still together. Yeah. Throughout Jessica's story, they end up, I don't remember if it was Coop or Jessica, whoever ended up saying it, about the whole situation with Dr. Garvey.
Yeah, it was. Anyway, go ahead.
So all of a sudden, after they kind of get through Jessica's part, Mint is getting like kind of unreasonably angry, and basically is starting to say things about Jessica, like being like, I can't believe like you slept with a professor while we were together, like basically you're a whore. And then he was like, and why did you go to Coop that night? Like, we were dating at the time, so like, why did you go there?
Why did you come to me?
And it kind of comes out that they were kind of in love with each other, all the things.
Thing going on.
Mint is like starting to go off the rails, like a little bit uncontrollably. They're all kind of taken aback by the fact that he's so angry. He's obviously married to Courtney now, and we all can see the situation with Dr. Garvey for what it is, as like
everyone's like, even Kara at this point is like, don't call her a whore. Like,
even though it came out that they were Coop, her fiance, and her were like
still together,
kind of having a side thing. And so even still, then Kara was like, not cool, bro.
Yeah.
Because that was not.
It's like, okay, that, let's differentiate their relationships here. Get some clarity. So he gets just more and more enraged with finding out that Jessica not only cheated on him with Dr. Garvey, which, well, I'll bring back up, but she was also messing around on him with Cooper, Cooper, of course, is one of his best friends. And so while he's making these accusations, they say, well, how do you know about Dr. Garvey? How did you know about that? And he's like, and then it comes out, then it goes into like his story.
Yeah.
Where I think it was Trevor or Tyler. It's one of the Garver's TA.
Garvey's TA, yeah.
Garvey's TA.
Who was in the frat with the guys.
With the guys, was, I don't know, poking fun, or...
He was kind of running his mouth.
Yeah.
Saying that, like, it's kind of inside knowledge that Garvey basically likes to
fool around with girls.
Yeah, fool around with students. Yeah. And he's like, didn't realize, like, your girl was one of them. And he's like, you're lying. And it's like, no, they went to dinner and then went to his place. And so Mint is pissed, and it's also bringing up past feelings of
from his parents. So it goes into how his mom cheated on his dad, and they're on this, I don't remember what they did. What was it? Stockbroking? I'm going to say stockbroking. I know it's probably not that, but
something like that.
Of company.
I think it was like something with hedge funds. I don't know.
That sounds right.
Okay.
And his mom cheated on his dad, and the mom told his dad, and the dad was like, please don't leave me. I love you. I'll forgive you.
It came out at like a party or something that they had. Or like at least it was like a group of friends or something together.
They were, I don't know where they were, but it was the frat guys. It was the guys.
No, his mom and dad.
His mom and dad?
They were like having a party, or they were with friends or something, because Mint was basically like mortified the fact that his dad like was not a man, and in the fact like he was like begging his mom to stay with him even after she like humiliated him. That was like the big thing.
Yeah.
And so he had some past trauma from that, obviously.
Yeah. His mom really demasculated his father, and his father just like this. It's really sad the way how his mom treated his father.
So during the time that Tyler, Trevor, whoever the heck he is,
I think it's Trevor,
is kind of like saying how she was cheating on him with the professor. He's also kind of finding out at that time that his dad like lost all their money or was like bad decisions and then tried to take the easy way out and like flee. So he was like embarrassed.
He tried to take the easy way out and he jumped out a window.
That was after.
Where?
He initially tried to like just leave. I forgot where they said he went to, but it was something that was said anyway. And so he's like basically raging about the fact that his dad is like such a coward and like a small man and all the things, and let his mom embarrass him. And
his mom like called Mint and was like, hey, I don't know if this is the right part of it, but it come to find out that the mom ousted the dad from the board.
Yeah, so like, the guy that she was having an affair with was like another board member, and so then that guy and her were like taking over since the dad was like useless, whatever.
The board voted him out and they started.
Yeah. So he's kind of going through this as he's like finding these things out.
Yeah.
And then he gets so then he's at the frat doing something, and that was when he realizes that Trevor, whatever his name is, has told everybody. And that was when they started kind of like poking fun and like making comments about like the professor and like whatever. And then he goes outside to take another call from his mom, and that was when his mom was like, your dad tried to
take the easy way out and jumped out the window.
When he tried to do that, and so
jumped off the building. Yeah.
Something. He was trying to unalive himself. And so they had him basically admitted.
Yeah.
And
he's alive, but barely.
I thought that they got him before he jumped, but then it was like he was crazy, obviously, because he's trying to. Yeah, and so she's like, if you want to visit him, make a plan with my assistant, basically.
She'll get you the flights.
Yeah,
which is I can't believe she said that.
So
with my assistant.
He hears that phone call and then like goes unhinged, raging inside, walks back into the house, and beats the heck out of Trevor, whatever his name is.
Like really bad.
Yeah.
Like he
like sent him to the hospital. And he has to drink through a straw. I think he like broke he had a feeding tube. Yeah. Yeah, that's what they were talking about. Yeah. Like it was bad. And so he's like coming unhinged, and then is like starts devising this plan, like, because he's pissed off at Jessica because he thinks that she like cheated on him with the professor and whatever. And he's like, how dare she, basically, I'm the best thing that ever happened to her, and like she should be worshiping me, and instead she's out here embarrassing me. So he's like, I'm gonna embarrass her at the party, like I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna bring it up in front of everybody, and she's gonna like beg for me, and I'm gonna be like, no, it's over. Like he was like going crazy. And so, as we know, Jessica never made it to the party.
She never went to the party. Yeah. And
that sent him. She's like, where is she? She's like, he couldn't get a hold of her. He tried calling her multiple times. She never answered. And so he starts spiraling, and then he decides to go and find her and catch her in the throes of passion with Professor Garvey. It would make total sense that they're going to go to a dorm room. They're going to go to her dorm room. And so he goes there and finds her in her bed, and he's like, oh wow, she's asleep. He doesn't even have the decency to wake me up or wake up to take my calls. Da, 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 da. And so he's like shaking her, trying to get her to wake and telling her to apologize to him. And she's like, go away, I hate you, leave me alone. And he's like getting more and more enraged because he's not getting the satisfaction of her like being like, please no, I'm so sorry, all the things. And he's like she's drunk because she like sounds weird, and she was like just asleep after like going to get with him, and he is like pissed, and then ends up seeing the scissors, the desk, and stabs her 17 times.
Which I was wondering, is it like 17 times with like them closed?
I was thinking closed because I thought he was just like.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking
the way she described the author was like, she's described it in a certain way, which I thought was like interesting.
So this
called it a pike.
Oh.
Yeah. She described it differently than how I've heard it written before, which I thought was good.
So this all comes to light as they're standing in the tower, and they all have. He's confessing that he killed Heather because he thought it was Jessica. He meant to kill her, and it wasn't her.
He, in his POV, he also talks about how he turned her over to see her or something. He wanted to see her face while she was dying, and he realized it was Jessica.
Heather.
Heather. Thank you. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it was Heather." This whole thing. Like, he felt terrible. Like, his rage immediately went away, and then he now turned into like survival mode and fear of he didn't want his life to be ruined for a mistake that he made.
For one mistake, like he shouldn't have to have that. And
for what he said, for one mistake that I've made, I shouldn't have to lose my life. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, one mistake. This is the second one, and you made it. The second one was 17 times. So yeah, and so he's like, oh, I can't get away with this, and all this stuff. So he then goes into the bathroom to like start washing his hands and all this stuff, and he goes back out and he finds her already passed away. And he's like, oh, I can't believe I let her die by herself. She was alone, this and that. And so he feels like terrible. And so then they cut back into the tower, and then everyone's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you killed her, all these things. And he's like, I didn't mean to kill her, I thought it was Jessica. And then he's just like raging, I hated you, I hate you, I try to let go of my anger. They're like, well, if you did this, why did you get back with Jessica? Because they were in a relationship outside of college, which this part I thought
was
like
unhinged.
Psychotic.
For real. Yeah.
To the max. And so he ended up getting back with Jessica, and
well, not back. They didn't ever break up.
In his mind, he's getting
okay.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
They didn't actually break up because she never showed up at the party, and then he killed Heather.
Yeah. And
then basically she's having whatever guilt she's having, and he obviously knows he killed Heather, and they're like, let's, after dust clears from Heather, they're like, I want to be like recommitted to this relationship, whatever, and they end up, I think, dating for like a year after college.
It's like some time. Yeah.
And all this time, he is holding on to the anger about her humiliating him
with Professor Garvey, because he didn't know anything about Cooper.
Yeah, not until they're in the tower.
He's raging about that, which is insane. Anyway, they go into how I'm gonna sidebar us. They go into how he broke up with her at a restaurant, and he confesses to her that he got with, what was her name, Courtney, and he cheated on her with Courtney. And then
he's like, I'm in love with her, basically, and I don't want to be with you anymore.
Yeah. And then what happens to her? She decides to like beg him to stay with her, and he's like, yeah.
So he kind of got some of the satisfaction I think he was looking for, but it wasn't, because he she didn't know that he knew about the Garvey. Like, that was the reason. Mm-hmm. I guess wasn't his wanting that was not fully realized, I guess. I don't know. But he ends up with Courtney, they go off, get married, do their thing.
Yeah.
And so from there, it kind of gets crazy. He essentially is still holding on to all this hate.
Yeah.
And basically lunges at her to try to push her out the window that was open from previously.
Yeah.
As block him, there ends up being like a whole tussle.
Yes. Some kind of crash. He picks up a blade of glass.
Yep.
And
then some, I don't remember how the fire got started.
The guys being Cooper, Eric, and Frankie rush Mint because Mint is trying to push her out the window. She dodges out of the way. There's a crash of glass. He picks up a blade, and with a blade of glass, and I don't know how he knows this, but he pulls out a lighter from Cooper's jacket.
Oh, I guess because they know that he like.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets a lighter.
Yeah, he gets a lighter. A fire is started.
And basically, where the fire is, it separates.
Yeah.
Him and Jessica from the rest of the group.
Yeah. How convenient.
Yeah. He attacks her.
He stabs her in the side, in the stomach, with this glass. And Cooper, or is it Eric?
It's Eric.
Eric jumps the wall of fire, pushes Mint off of Jessica, and he ends up falling out of the window.
Yeah, Eric is the one who pushes him out the window.
Pushes him out the window.
And then Frankie and
Coop, in the middle of all of this, at some point Courtney passes out.
Yeah.
Because her heart cannot handle it because she's on these Chinese diet pills.
Side note. So she's passed out. Carol's trying to like drag her body out
of the way.
The guys are trying to like save Jessica from this murderer guy who's gone off the deep end.
Yes.
So he gets pushed out the window.
Mm-hmm. And mind you, the homecoming parade is happening below.
It ends like right at the tower. Yeah. So they're like going. So everybody from the parade sees him fly out the window. Basically.
Fly out the window.
Jessica
makes a brilliant, quick decision.
It's like, this is what happened. I pushed him out the window out of self-defense because she didn't want.
He stabbed me.
Yeah.
I pushed him out. I have a reason for self-defense.
Yeah.
He was like, Eric didn't do it. And Eric's like, I did it. It's justice.
It's fine. Like, I knew what I was doing because she's like, they're going to put you away because it wasn't self. Yeah, after all this.
Yeah. So they all agree in the middle of a fire that she pushed him out the window, and she gets closer to the window so everybody sees her at the top, like that she's the one that did it.
Yeah.
And then during all of this commotion, cops and firefighters were called, and they help bring them down, and she is escorted down. She's in handcuffs. I'm like, she has a stab wound. Making her walk down the stairs.
They probably would handcuff her, but like she would go to...
They would go to the hospital first. Or they would handcuff her to the gurney.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in the middle of all this, she spots Jack, and Jack is like, what happened? What's going on? She's like, Jack, what are you doing here? Like, you weren't invited. He's like, what happened? Tell me what happened. She's like, it was Mint. He confessed. Da-da-da-da-da. You know, it was him the whole time, and he thought it was me, and he tried to kill me. I killed him. I pushed him out. It's self-defense. And Jack is like, our plan worked. And she's like,
what? She's like, I can't believe he actually did it. And and we find out that he was working with Eric to try to help
the whole time.
Yeah.
So, so she wakes up in the hospital. She had surgery, and is recovering, and when she wakes up, she sees all of them, and they all agree again to keep quiet and say that she did it. And at this point, they are like slowly leaving and, you know, saying their goodbyes. What am I missing? Last part.
You're saying at the hospital they said goodbye?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And you said the part about Carol? Or no, you didn't say that.
I don't know about the part about Carol. I don't think so.
So they basically end up saying, like, I don't know. So Coop was like, you're basically going to get off because he had a lawyer friend, like...
Yeah. Coop had a
who
lawyer.
was representing her or whatever, and he's like, it'll just take a couple days, essentially, but you have a good case for self-defense. And then so they're like, we all agree, like, we're never going to talk about this, whatever. And Carol's like, great, I'm leaving now. I never want to see any of you ever again.
Yeah.
So she dips. Eventually Jessica gets out of the hospital. And she's bombarded with all the... I was going to say tabloids, but I mean, not really that. It's like newspapers, like local.
And people like rallying around her after they find out all of the facts. And they're trying to get sound bites from her, and she's just like, I'm walking out of here with my wound.
Yeah.
And then, which
like,
I thought was ridiculous. And then Cooper shows up on a motorcycle to save her, and
basically is like, hop on.
Yeah,
he doesn't, but like
maybe
basically.
like a week after surgery, and she is described. She runs to him, jumps on the bike, has a helmet on, and holds him, and then they skirt out of there. And I'm like, that's the most unrealistic shit I've ever heard. There's no way you're running. There's no way you're jumping. You just.
I mean, what else do you do? Obviously, you get on his motorcycle.
It's a life-threatening situation. I don't know. Adrenaline's, I hear is quite the drug.
Yeah.
And
so they have a little chat, and they decide, like, they've been in love with each other for 10 years, and they want to be together, so they're going to, like, give it a go.
Rekindle their situationship.
And at the very end, Jessica's like, basically, I'm glad, like, we finally found out, like, what happened.
Yeah.
And she starts talking about, like, still having guilt.
She's like, well, it's a good thing the last stuff of my thing didn't.
Yeah, they didn't find out.
The last year. And now she's like, I'm never going to tell anybody. It's going to ruin blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, he took he confessed, and, like, that's all. I'm like, I'm letting it go, basically, is what she says. I had one theory about this, about, like, what it was. I thought it was, like, she was going to say something about, like, she actually drugged Heather over the whole, her situation, and that's why she was, like, still having guilt behind it. But we actually do find out why she has guilt.
Yeah, at this point, because all of this, right after Mint confesses, up to this point, she's alluding to how her final, most darkest secret has not been revealed.
And it has some hand in
to do with Heather and, like, the events that led up to it. And so, at this point, all of the loose ends have been tied.
And so you're like, what else could
it?
she have possibly done? Because we know she didn't kill her.
Yeah. So, at this point, you think that she was the one that drugged Heather.
I thought, like, drugged her or, like, knocked her out. And so she, like, wasn't able... That's why she was, like, all out of it and, like, couldn't fight back and whatever. And so I was thinking she did something like that. And so if she could have fought back, maybe she wouldn't have, like, died. Did you have a theory?
I had a theory that she did something to sabotage her. Not, like, her life, but, like, not her physical life, but her school or her career life.
Oh, like, because of her breaking into the... You thought that she did something further, but nobody found out what she did.
Yeah. Like, I think that I thought it... Yeah, exactly. She sabotaged her in some way, and no one found out. And that would be another motive for her to kill her.
I gotcha.
So, because at this point, I'm thinking it's already wrapped up. So,
but we found out that actually what happened was after she broke into the administration and went and saw Coop, she went back to the house and
to her dorm.
Yeah, I don't know why I said house. To her dorm, and she ends up finding Heather. This is like really early in the morning, I guess, or maybe like really late at night. It like just happened. Okay, yeah. So whatever time it is, she walks in, finds Heather, all stabbed,
bleeding, and she thinks that she's dead. She like runs to her, and she's thinking she's dead, and she's like crying.
She's like, what was she doing in my bed? And then she is like freaking out, like, oh my God, what happened? And Heather ends up talking to her.
Jessica.
And she's like, yeah. And so she's like, okay, like I'm
so sorry, I'll help you. And so she runs out
to try to go get help.
She's waiting for the elevator, and she's trying to go to, like, I guess the reception desk, because they'll have like some kind of emergency hotline. Usually campuses have like these, press a button and like the cops are called immediately.
Oh, I thought it was like some desk where there was, regardless, she was trying to go get help downstairs.
Yes. And at this point, it's freaking 2009, 2000, as early 2000s, you have a cell phone.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So anyway,
especially a college student. Anyway,
she is waiting at the elevator.
She's in the elevator.
Yeah,
because it starts talking about how like going down the floors.
Okay.
And she essentially makes the conscious decision, because she's like, she gets everything, blah blah blah, and to walk out of the elevator, and she does not go get help.
She decides to do nothing.
Yep. And that was the big twist, which I thought was crazy. I totally honest, did not.
I wasn't expecting
it
because I thought that was.
I thought she was fully dead by the time anybody found her.
So I thought that was a really good twist. It shows how you still can't let it go. Just can't let it go. So yeah, which after sitting with this book and all of that and finding out the twist, it had me thinking, if she was still alive, then that had to have meant that Mint was in the bathroom.
Yeah, because whenever he came out,
she was dead.
Yeah. I thought about that too, and I was like, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because imagine him like coming out of the bathroom and seeing her.
Yeah.
With the fact that he like wanted to actually kill her.
And then he would have had to kill her because she would have known that he killed her.
Yeah, so then he would have murdered 2 people that night.
What would he have done?
I don't know. So yeah, it was a good ending.
It was good. Sure. Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, that was the book. It was a good one.
It was a lot. It was good. It was very twisty. I really liked the cattiness and pettiness of the characters. I liked the in-depth brought up, and also that they started at freshman year, so you really see their friendship developing leading up to the event. So it's not just the event and they already have an established friendship.
Yeah.
Like, you really grow with them throughout their journey.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just saying, would you recommend this book?
Yes. I was going to say, I thought it was really good. It was really well written. I liked how her writing style of it. I liked the POV and the flashbacks. It was in the POV of the person that was flashbacked from.
Who was flashbacking?
Yes, thank you. It really got you into the mind of that character, and their thoughts and their feelings around that, and that immediate moment for them. I would recommend this book.
Yeah.
100%.
Same. I think that I would really recommend this book to people who are wanting to get into, like, mystery thriller reads, because while there was still a lot going on, I feel like it was really easy to follow.
Yes. 100%.
Again, talking about the characters and stuff, there was never a point where I was like, wait, who was this again?
very distinguished.
Yeah, and so while there was a lot of twists and it was kind of like back and forth, like who did it, I think it was still easy to follow, and I think it would be good for somebody who's like wanting to get into this genre. And I feel like the twist at the end was also really good. It wasn't like something just completely off the wall or crazy, and it was still a good twist.
Yeah.
And so I definitely would recommend this, probably specifically to somebody. I mean, still to anybody who likes mystery thrillers.
I agree with you. It would be a really good intro, but I also think it would be a really good one for people that are seasoned in it, because this is one of my bigger genres that I get into, and I'm one to tend to like find the plots in reading things.
Yeah.
And this is one where I did find them as I was reading, but there was a lot that were uncovered in it.
I think there was some stuff, that's how I felt too.
Yeah.
There was some stuff I was like, okay, kind of saw that one coming, but there was a lot that I was like, oh, heck, I thought we were like kind of done with that, or that was another strand off of this timeline, basically, and again, the final reveal was like at the very end, and it was surprising to me, so I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the writing style a lot. Kind of same as you. I feel like the characters were super engaging, and
with them being engaging, the story was engaging throughout the whole thing.
It had a good pace. It was never, I think sometimes too, whenever there's multiple POVs, sometimes you get into that like, I feel like this maybe happens a little more in fantasy, but when you get into different POVs, you're kind of like, oh, I don't want to read about this person anymore. And you're like, I want to go to the next person. I didn't feel that. Again, I think that maybe some of like different genre, but it was good. Good pacing and good.
I think it also has to do with them, like the flashbacks. It has to do with the critical moment of the time. So
true. It wasn't like there was like, that's what I mean. Like the pacing was good, and so there wasn't really a lot of like downtime or super boring moments. And even the stuff that didn't have to do with like directly with the murder, it was super relevant to why those characters were doing what they were doing. And so I felt like it was really engaging the whole time.
Absolutely. I thought it was really good. Ratings?
I think I'm gonna give it a 4.
I too am gonna give it a 4.
I really liked it. That was a good one.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was really good. So that wraps up that book.
Yep. Next week,
TBR jar.
Yeah.
All right, you guys do the honors today? I don't even think they're mixing.
I mean, I would do it like that, but okay. She said take the lid off and do it. This one.
Okay. He's the one.
Drum rope. Nailed it. What are we reading? Remarkably Bright Creatures.
Awesome. We'll get into that next time.
So that's what we will
do next
be
week.
tackling next week. Yep.
So here's your chance to grab a copy and meet us here next Sunday. We'll have thoughts on it. Join us.